Greetings, it's Lisa here from Lisa Loves Channel to do a review for you today for Geek Legion of Doom. And boy, do we have a bit of a different one for you today. So, you may recognise some of that footage from the trailer if you've been waiting for this movie. It's been a long time in production, quite a few years now. The title of the movie is St. Bernard, and most notably here we have Warwick Davis starring. It's a bit strange to see him coming back to horror, but this has been a bit of a long time in the making. I think he quite possibly owes the director a bit of a favour here. To make you aware, the actual director, or should I say writer, producer, director, is actually Gabriel Bartalos, who is more known for his special effects work on movies. He has actually written, directed and produced a movie before by the name Skinned Deep, but you'll maybe know him more for his work on effects on movies like Godzilla, The Cave, Darkman, and as I sort of alluded to earlier, he was actually responsible for the famous Leprechaun makeup worn by Warwick Davis. Also, the Kaufman creation of Tony Clifton, the facial prosthetics for that character, he is also responsible for that. So alongside Warwick Davis in this movie, some of the stars that we have: Katy Sullivan, Jason Dugre, Peter Iasillo Jr and Bob Zmuda. So, I apologise for what follows. I am going to attempt to explain to you something of a premise of this movie. I actually read somewhere about this movie after I watched it that this movie dares you to coherently describe it or give a storyline, and that very much is the case. This is a movie, if you have been anticipating it, as a lot of people have, if you've been looking forward to it, if you're aware of the director, and if you like stuff that he's done, you will probably seek out this movie. This movie is surreal in the extreme. I will say from the get-go, I want to be fully transparent here, I am not a fan of this kind of movie, of surreal movies. I prefer a more standard storyline that I can follow. So the movie follows a gentleman called Bernard, who's a very gifted conductor. He has been trained by his uncle, and he's just got better over the years. As he hits adulthood, he begins, for some reason, a descent into some form of madness. This movie actually follows it tries to visually represent the madness that's going on inside Bernard's head. We seem to go from one, I read it described as from one art installation to another. It's just like a tableau of dark depravity and weirdness, and it very much does feel like art exhibits, like modern art exhibits. Some of the creations within this, the special effects in this, are some of the weirdest stuff I have ever seen. If you go in for that type of weird visual imagery, then you will probably really enjoy this. But if you want a coherent story that's easy to understand, if you don't want to be shouting at your telly, what the hell is happening, then this isn't for you. This is really for those that want to watch something very visual. I can best describe it as a series of very strange pop videos with a horror twist all put together with no music over the top. It's very difficult for me to explain what happens in this because I don't know. It just seems to represent Bernard's different spiralling into a degree of madness. I can't explain what was going on. It was all very strange. Some of the imagery was really repulsive in places. The special effects in places are excellent, and in other places, I don't know whether it's purposeful, but are very ridiculously fake in the extreme. Some of the actual imagery presented is just ludicrous, is the only way I can put it, and I don't want to give a very one-sided view of this movie because as I've already said, it's not my kind of thing. You have masters at the surreal like Argento. I don't enjoy his movies because it's not my cup of tea. This movie is the most surreal movie I have ever seen. But what I find confusing is that everything that happens, other people also seem to be seeing and experiencing, so it's not just in his head, which was, is it various tableaus of what's going on in here? I am completely incapable of comprehending or explaining to you, I'm afraid. I could tell you various things which were on show in the actual movie and what we saw, but I don't want to spoil any of that for you, so I'm not going to do that. So I feel a bit bad trying to review something for you with nothing really to tell you, other than it is surreal, it is weird, it's not coherent. You will not be able to explain coherently to someone else what this movie is about, other than to say, this is a visual representation of a man's descent into madness. It's the only way I can put this to you. Warwick Davis is only in this movie for perhaps 4 minutes or so. Very, very limited amount of time. Really odd character. Really didn't get what was going on specifically. But as I say, this is not my cup of tea. A lot of people may be able to read more into this and get more from this and understand more of this. But I am not one of the people that this sort of movie is aimed at. So yeah, if this is something you've knew about, you have knowledge of, if you have watched Skin Deep and enjoyed that, I myself haven't, you may enjoy this movie. If you want to see something that's just one of the weirdest things you've ever seen, definitely check this out. There are some special effects in this, I do have to say, that were jaw-droppingly good. A couple of specific effects that I can think of. One of them relates to a St. Bernard dog, and the other is a young lady who's involved in an accident. That's all I will say. And the special effects there just had my jaw to the ground. They were so good. And other effects were more along the line of Dark Crystal, sort of labyrinthy, that sort of thing, which really, it doesn't appeal to me. I'm more of a gorehound, I'm afraid, when it comes to effects. But yeah, let me know in the comments if this is someone that you're aware of, that you've been looking forward to, that you've been following. Is it something that you feel you would enjoy? Is this your bag? Is this your kind of movie? As I say, apologies, this just is not really something I would normally go for, and I can't give you any more of a concise review than that. But I'd be really interested to hear your guys' thoughts below in the comments. So let us know what you think, and I look forward to speaking to you next time.